So I managed to get myself a copy of Wonder Woman 801 by Tom King, and I know this book's getting a lot of buzz. It's starting to get hard to find, and I figured we'd talk about it. So here we go. First things first, we know that this book is marching along to introduce us to the character of the new Wonder Girl, Diana's daughter, who we've already met. Her first appearance is in Wonder Woman 800, rather, as backup story. She is a horrible, abrasive, unlikable character who the only way that she knows how to communicate with people is either through insults, snarky comments, or bragging about herself, and then everybody around her just kind of affirms her, I guess. So she's terrible. She's on her way. She actually makes me miss the days of getting to sit on this channel and talk about Jonathan Kent's Superman, but I digress. Let's keep things in the present and talk about the story at hand. So this book starts off with a bar fight in which an Amazonian lady is just kicking the crud out of a bunch of guys in a bar for reasons that we don't understand. She ends up killing 19 men and leaving the 2 women that were in the bar unharmed, and they're kind of witnesses to the attack. So as a result of this attack, the government takes the perfectly reasonable response of outlawing all Amazonians, declaring them illegal immigrants, and order their immediate deportation out of the country. So, I mean, what? A single person from like an ethnic group commits a single crime, and in this world, the U.S. government then declares that entire nationality criminals? I mean, I guess. So you see, what we're trying to do is we're trying to do a ham-fisted commentary on society. So this book is just utter woke nonsense, but we'll get into more of that later. So news comes out that an Amazonian did this. The government's response is to appoint resident government superhuman because he has a metal hand, Sergeant Steele, and puts him in charge of a task force of rounding up all the Amazonians and kicking them out of the country. And then we're treated to a fun scene where Sergeant Steele comes to a same-sex Amazon couple, because of course they are, and starts with them. He's going to kick him out of the country. One of them tries to fight back, and even though, you know, she does the perfectly honorable thing of decapitating and murdering a government agent, she gets gunned down by the rest of Sergeant Steele's men right in front of their child, and the surviving Amazon mother and her anchor baby both get deported out of the country, and that's kind of where we start with this. So they're going across the country, rounding up Amazons and kicking them out of the country, and then we finally get to Wonder Woman herself, Diana, who's hanging out in a cemetery, and she gets approached and accosted by Sergeant Steele and a squadron of his men, and the fight goes about as well as you'd think. I mean, these guys just kind of come up on her with regular guns and ammunition, like that is something that was going to work on her. I mean, are you not familiar with her capabilities in any way, shape, or form? I mean, she's a founding member of the Justice League. She saved the world 2,000 times at least. She fights cosmic horrors and literal gods on a regular basis, and you just think like a guy with a sniper rifle and a few dudes with M16s are really going to be a threat to Diana. What was your strategy here? I mean, literally, she's a princess, an ambassador, a literal goddess at this point, and they just kind of try to arrest her like she's a common criminal. And okay, she ends up crushing Sergeant Steele's hand and basically telling him to go away. And then we see the person that was actually narrating the book was this old, shriveled up king guy named Sovereign, who I guess is going to be the major villain of this story arc. And that's pretty much it. That is the nonsensical plot of Wonder Woman 801. So first of all, the ham-fisted commentary. So like I said, it's stupid on its face. I mean, the fact that you're going to have one person from another country just commits a brutal murder, and then we're going to declare the entire group of Amazons as enemy combatants. I just don't buy it. I'm sorry. I almost think that this makes a little bit more sense if you compare this to another knee-jerk response that the country tends to have when big mass killings like this happen. They should have just called them like assault Amazons and then passed a law banning them. That's about how much sense Tom King's logic makes here. And that's always my problem with Tom King, because a lot of people like him, a lot of people don't. He tends to be very divisive. I've never met anybody who just kind of likes or thinks he's okay. People really like him or they really don't. And I feel he writes himself into these corners, and that's how he does it. So, let's go back and look at City of Bane. If you want to talk about how he just approaches characters, he loves to deconstruct. deconstruct. He loves to take a character and break them down to their core to the point that they're not even recognizable as that character anymore. So in this story that he wrote on his really long Batman run, that ended up getting cut short because it was just terrible, this City of Bane came up. Bane rolls into Gotham City, takes over the city, takes a bunch of the Bat family hostage, and captures everyone. And Batman's response to this is to get really scared and triggered by this and decide he needs to take a personal day. And he goes on a beach vacation with Catwoman for a week while Bane murders Alfred. This was a literal story. This was something that happened in DC Comics that Tom King wrote that people bought and enjoyed and will defend to this day. Or how about just straight utter character assassination, like when he turned Wally West Flash into a mass murderer who unceremoniously killed off a third of the Teen Titans cast and crew. This guy doesn't have a good track record when it comes to handling characters that people have an attachment to, that have a long history. He doesn't really care what their history is or any of that. He wants his characters to act the way he wants them to act, whether it's in line with what you know of these characters to be or not. So I was really curious to see how he would handle a book with a female lead, because one of his tropes that he likes to stick to is he likes to stick to male characters, and he likes to bring in the female characters and kind of make them like maternal types to these characters, kind of part of the thing that's helping them through this journey of deconstruction and then a reconstruction into this new, like, more progressive, healed version of themselves. So I thought it'd be interesting to see what he would do with a female character. And, well, I mean, he did what I kind of figured he did. Wonder Woman's not even the central character in the story. If anything, Sergeant Steele is the central character in the story. And, of course, you're going to break him down to this kind of toxic male, king and country, duty comes first type of soldier who is basically willing to commit horrible atrocities under the guise of I was just following orders. And that's the main character. Wonder Woman doesn't even show up till halfway through the book, and she's not even revealed to be the narrator at the end of this book. It's this old king guy who's going to be the main villain. So I don't even understand how this is a Wonder Woman story at this point, because she's just kind of a character in her own book. And the other problem I had with this book is I don't get what the stakes are, because they didn't give me anything to be a hook to get me into this story. So we had an Amazon went on a killing spree in a bar. Okay, she's a criminal. She should be apprehended. But then because this world makes no sense, the government just declares all Amazonians enemy combatants and going to kick them all out of the country. I mean, why? Why are we going to this response? And why now? Why didn't we do this when one of the times when Giganta went nuts or Cheetah or somebody else who has, some kind of tie to Themyscira? I don't understand why this one instance of this random bar in some random town where a lady gets in a bar fight and just beats the hell out of people is the thing that's going to convince the government that Amazonians need to be booted out of the country, Wonder Woman included, who has, again, saved the world several times and is a founding member of the Justice League. And most likely, if they try to kick her out of the country, people, like Kryptonians and such are going to come out of the woodwork to defend her. So I don't understand the logic behind that. I think it's just a stupid, nonsensical way to try to get your little commentary on illegal immigration and maybe how we face that kind of thing in this country into a comic book, which, again, I mean, do we have to say to this point that's not the kind of thing that we come to our escapist comic book fantasies to have to be lectured about? So, yeah, I mean, if you're going to do stupid commentary, at least make it good. At least have it make sense. And as far as the Amazonian, am I supposed to feel sympathy for the character at the beginning? I have no reason to. I mean, if you wanted to reveal that, give me a hint that maybe she wasn't in control of her own actions. Maybe somebody had taken over her mind and was forcing her to do this, or maybe she was hallucinating, but there's no hint of that. I mean, she talks, she seems lucid. She's, she converses with these people as she's beating them up. So I don't see any of that. And it's not like Tom King doesn't like to reveal things in his book. I mean, this comic book, one of its other downsides is it's a literal word salad. I mean, people talk in this book so much. There is so much dialogue. There are pages in this book where you really have to squint and find the illustrations that are hidden behind these massive amounts of word bubbles on the page. So it's not like he doesn't want to show you this. I mean, I just don't understand. And then when it comes to the ultimate decision to bring in Wonder Woman, they just approach her like she is a non-superpowered combatant who needs to be deported. They don't bring any special troops, any special weaponry, or even a tank or something would make a little bit of sense. And again, so that gives me no stakes. Sergeant Steele poses no threat to Wonder Woman. There's even a scene in the book where she sends her sword back to Themyscira because she doesn't want to be tempted to use it to kill people. So she is so non-threatened by the response to what's going on. She's basically given up her weapons and said, I'm just going to do this with my bare hands and my lasso because the people I'm going up against are so out of my league, they couldn't handle me at my full power. So there's no stake to Wonder Woman here. The narration from the Sovereign guy, we don't get anything from that. I don't even understand how he's involved other than just he has knowledge of these events. Maybe dropped a hint that he was somehow involved in corrupting this Amazonian or engineering the attack, or maybe she wasn't an Amazonian at all, but doesn't make any sense because Wonder Woman knew exactly who she was and is hunting her down too. But Wonder Woman says she's doing it because she wants to help her, but why? She did kill 19 people. I mean, she is a criminal. She needs to be apprehended, not helped. I mean, I don't see Wonder Woman going out there again to help Cheetah or Dr. Poison when they go on one of their killing sprees. So yeah, this book doesn't make any sense. And again, it falls right in line with Tom King and is not writing characters that actually act like the characters that they're writing. There's no stakes, there's no hook. There's nothing that makes me want to pick up issue 802. There really isn't here. I mean, the artwork's nice, I'll give it that. But other than that, I can't think of a redeeming quality. I don't care about the mystery. There's not even a mystery. I don't care about why this Amazonian did it. I don't care about why Wonder Woman is hunting her down. I don't care that the government is trying to throw all Amazons out of the country because that just doesn't make any sense to me. How they come to the conclusion of, okay, this one person committed a horrible crime, so we're going to go ahead and deport one of our greatest superheroes and make it so she can't come back into United States territory. That doesn't make any sense. None of this book makes any sense. And I did find it interesting because I did want to see Tom King on his take on a female-led superhero comic because I've never read one that he's done. He may have done them in the past, but none that I paid attention to. And I think it's interesting that when he does a male character, it's all about deconstruction. This character needs to be torn down so he can be built back up and all this other stuff. I don't get that from this. I mean, again, like I said, Wonder Woman's not this book's not from her point of view. This book is from the point of view of Sergeant Steele. So he's obviously the deconstruction character. Wonder Woman is just an instrument of that. And that's what I took from this book. And that's why I really don't care, because I don't care about a Sergeant Steele book. I don't care about him as a character. Obviously, he's a terrible person if he's just going to gun down families because he's been ordered to. This entire book I just thought was terrible, and which kind of sucks because DC's been on a little bit of a roll lately, putting out some pretty good content, and this, in my opinion, is just a dramatic step backwards. But what do you guys think? Did you read this book? Did you see it on the stands? Did you give it a chance? What did you think? Are you a fan of Tom King? Do you fall into the I really love or I really hate that guy's stuff? I'm curious because I really want to know what the breakdown is. So let's talk about that in the comments below. While you're down there, do all the usual stuff. Hit like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. I know my videos have been really sparse lately, a couple weeks apart each, but I'm going to try to get a little bit better at it as my schedule starts freeing up a little bit going into the winter time, and I will talk to you next time. See you.